Right, here we are, spawning in the upper right. In the red. Representing, I believe he was signed by NV. But anyway, in the red, it's Rogue. And in the bottom left, in the blue, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming, it's Cure. I apologize. It is he's playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. As yeah, they dropped Dark. As they dropped Dark to pick up Rogue and did they drop? No, they dropped Parting to pick up Rogue, I believe. And you know, on the one hand, that means there's a little bit less race variance, a little bit race variance within the team. But on the flip side, you have the two most recent world champions on your team. Yeah, that's pretty terrifying. Dragon Phoenix Gaming, along with having Cure, who has looked pretty good this year, especially on online cups, they absolutely have got to be the favorite in the Gold Team Challenge. I believe that's what it's called, the Chinese Team League, in the coming year. I mean, Rogue, Dark, and Cure, please, that's just ridiculous. So, I mean, and yeah, NV made a splash. They signed SOS, they signed Creator, and they signed Maru, but SOS hasn't had the best year. Maru has been decent, but he's not been world-killing Maru with all of his injuries, unfortunately, this year. And Creator has not been good since Wings of Liberty. He's a great practice partner, and he's a good low-tier pro, but when was the last time the Creator won anything? And it makes me sad, because, I mean, he shows these moments of brilliance, and you get really excited about it, and he just kind of goes and gets in his own head, and doesn't really work out. But hey, maybe Team NV will be able to help him with that. But anyway, let's talk about this game. For the moment, actually, not a really whole lot to talk about. We don't see much build variance yet. It looks like this will, of course. So actually, did we see a Reaper? We did not. So this was a Marine. This was a Marine first opening coming on in here from Curious. He goes straight into Hellion production, and this does mean something. So the Marine, of course, is just patrolling to prevent a scout. I mean, that's not really going to factor in for the moment. You really don't send Overlords into scout until just about 4 minutes, 4:15. Even if this Overlord is ever going to get sent into scout in the first place. But I would not be surprised. Oh, we have medevac coming on in. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised for this to be some sort of Hellbat pressure. And there we go with the armory coming on in here. So it's going to be Hellbat. This is going to be Hellbats in game number 1 from Cure. And, well, I don't really... There have been games that he's done this, and it's looked really good. Games against DRG, for example, where it looked really, really good, where he just got a lot of... He kind of just killed DRG with it. But that was because of other things. That was because of how the game opened up. He took a lot of damage from a 12 full opener, but on the flip side, there just weren't enough queens, and then, well, things got in and damage was done. Or DRG thought he was going for a more macro game, then he shows up with a bunch of Marines, Banshees, and Hellbats and just kind of bops him because there's no Baneling Nest. But that's not what this game is. This is just a Hellbat Marine timing is, well, only 4 Hellbats. So this is, oh, there we go. Now we're going to see the 6. Not the most committed, but with 4 Marines and 6 Hellbats, well, that's going to be a little bit scarier, excuse me. But hey, with the queens on the wall here, I mean, this is a pretty good wall. Now, I really like this. So we just see the cancel and remake. Now, it looks like the queen will eventually go down. And I will say the one thing going on here is these queens are not able to target down, not really able to target down the medevac for the moment. But the wall is still getting plugged, and Rogue is just doing such a good job of holding this. Now, there is a spine coming on in, and I believe we lost 1 queen. But 1 queen and a bunch of Zerglings is not exactly the bounty that you're looking to make here. As the medevac does go down, the queen's not even going to die. And yeah, sure. So actually, no. Okay, no, yep, the queen will not go down. So what did we lose at the end of the day? 3 queens, 26 lings for a Hellbat, for 6 Hellbats, 4 Marines, and a medevac. Yeah, notionally, Rogue lost more, but not really. He did. Yeah, he lost a little bit more. But I mean, on the flip side, Cure, he cut so many workers for this. Is he going to try to do this again? I don't like that. Maybe he's just going to try to dive on in. And behind this, of course, we have Banshees on the way. And maybe that's the play. If you get a bunch of damage, you knock off a bunch of Queens. Well, maybe that's what you say. Okay, you're like, okay, for the next push, it's going to be that much more impactful because the Banshees are going to be able to get so much done because, well, the Queens are damaged. There are not as many of them as we only have 5 Queens on the map at the moment. Although 2 more on the way, so we're going up to 7 Queens pretty quickly. Rogue, he was not born yesterday. Or 2 days ago, for that fact. Once again, we have a Hellbat push coming on in, but this one is unsupported, and I really don't like this. I mean, the first one, sure, that maybe works, but not near. I know this one is not nearly as nice as the Queens are going to get split. Zergling's sitting here to tank, and yeah, this is not going to get any nothing doing here. Now, is this distracting from Banshees? Not really. The Banshees are off on the right-hand side. There we go. One Hellbat goes down, and not really getting a whole lot done. And now the Banshees, they're going to try to find their way into a main base, but there are 2 sports in the main base. That's maybe a little bit overkill, but hey. Rogue's the pro player. Rogue is the world champion, not me. So now the Hellbat's running in on the left-hand side, and I like this a little bit more. Now he knows there's no spine here. He knows Queens have gotten themselves a little bit distracted in the main base with the Banshees. So maybe he can get something done here. But now the Zerglings will find their way in. And, well, the drones are just going to get pulled. So, I mean, he's forcing APM. He's forcing mining time losses. And he's getting a couple workers. But, oh, yeah, Rogue got to be careful. Rogue almost just lost everything. But, you know, hey, he is Rogue. No big deal. So, yeah, the Hellbats are going to run in, try to see if they can get a couple swipes off on these drones. And they will not be able to do so. But, hey, 11 workers have gone down. So, oh, and he got a queen, too. So where do we sit at the end of the day here? 1-1 is just about done for the Zerg. Spire is on the way. He didn't lose. I mean, he lost, I think, like 11 workers and 4 queens. Well, 11 workers and 3 queens in that last version of the attack, but it was heavily committed to. And now with the drop going on in here, the Zergling counterattack should be able to get a decent amount of damage. There's just, what? Not a whole lot here as Zerglings kind of flood on in. Get on top of things, and yeah, with the Widow Mines coming in, but the wall is down, and just a bunch of SCVs are just sitting here. So yeah, we see Widow Mine go off, but not really a whole lot, and 6 workers go down. But of course, now there's a drop in the main base, and yeah, this should be defensible enough. Although the spawning pool is going to get targeted down here, and that's going to get, yep, the spawning pool is just going to go. No, yes, the spawning pool is going to go down. And Rogue did not see it far enough in advance to get another one started up. So there's going to be a period of time where he just can't build anything. I mean, he can build drones. He can saturate his 4th base, but no offensive units. Although the Spire is going to be done in 20 seconds, and maybe he can do something there. Meanwhile, we do have this army coming in, but with the Banelings here, yeah, the defense is possible. Now we have a big run back coming in, and the wall's up once again. Although the army's there, so this run back's not getting a whole lot. We'll get a couple. We'll get a couple more Hellions. I'm surprised at how heavily. Yeah, why are there so many Hellions? I'm really surprised at how many Hellions the Cure has decided to build in this game. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not saying it's good, but it is non-standard. Maybe it's a misclick. Maybe he meant to build Widow Mines. But he has a lot of Hellions in this army. 4 even after the 2 were killed. So that's even more than the Hellions that were left over from the previous fight. But now, of course, well, we are sitting on in, and Cure is getting his first push of the game up and running. And Rogue, his creep spread is looking really, really good. He's got Baneling speed. He has 1-1. +2 Carapace is just about done. He has a decent amount of Mutaflak to be able to target down any sort of Widow Mines. Not that it really matters. Not really. No Widow Mines are really here. Spine's able to keep firing away. And yeah, this is a nice pocket that Cure has for himself, but he is losing. Well, he's just not trading the way he would like. But hey, are we on? Is this an ARAX? No, it's only a 5 racks, but Cure has been able to find a supply lead over the course of this game as he's sitting up here 30 army supply for the moment. Granted, his economy is low. And that explains some things. Actually, as he loses all these medevacs, he's losing a lot of staying power with his army, and Rogue just continues to macro well, to keep his money low, and to just keep morphing Banelings as wave after wave after wave goes crashing into the Terran army. It's going to force Cure back for the moment. But now there is this timing in about 10 seconds where there will be a 10-15 second window where Cure will have well, he will have better upgrades for the moment. Now, it is... The Zerg does have the upgrade that he's looking for at the +2 level. I mean, Carapace is more important than armor, or than attack, but still, it's a little bit of a timing. Here's not really going to be able to take advantage of it, though. Now the mutas that will come flying in, these are +0 mutas for the moment, so there's going to have a little bit of a difficulty dealing with this missile turret. But now the Zergling's coming running on in, and now the third base is just getting ravaged. Yeah, the missile turret goes down, 12 works do go down, and more. It looks like we're seeing a grand total of 14, and the fourth base will be delayed. And more importantly than all that economic damage that did happen, 15 workers go down. Kira's army is forced back. That push that Kira was looking to do on the left-hand side, yeah, it cleared up a little bit of creep, and I would like to see Rogue go back and replace that, but the army's pulled back. And this is buying Rogue time. He has a hive on the way. He's burrow on the way as well, which I really like. I love seeing Zergs that go on and do that. He's able to take his 6th base in the air. This one of mine does need to get taken care of, and there, Rogue has finally noticed it. So let's see. Rogue is soon to be on 6 bases cure. He's only just now taking his 4th. And yeah, as a Zerg, you want to be 1 base ahead. Getting 2 bases ahead is just a really... Actually, I guess 3 bases ahead for the moment. Getting 2 bases ahead is just a really nice time. So now the mutas will fly in. I would like to see them magic box the Thor, but I guess they're afraid of the army. He doesn't really... Rogue doesn't exactly know where the army is, so he will back up. Makes a good bit of sense. But the hive is just about done. And while the creep spread around the 6th base is not the best for the moment, I mean, the hatchery is spreading creep. It's not really... Creep spread has not really progressed past there. Well, but the hatchery is as this bastion of defense. Just getting a bit better position. I would like to see Rogue maybe poop a bit of creep on the high ground to make sure that maybe so we can get some creep tumors up there faster. That is, of course, will be the siege position that Kira's looking for should he decide to push on the right-hand side. But Kira, for the moment, has decided to be a little bit passive. He says, look, I got 3-3 on the way. I got drilling... That is a late drilling clause. I got drilling clause on the way. I'm working on maxing out. I don't really feel confident with my army at the moment. I don't really feel like I can take a great fight. So he's just going to sit home behind his wall, establish his 4th base properly, and progress on into this game. And this really does seem to be the way that Terrans are playing recently. Maru's been doing this. Beyond's been doing this. They're not afraid of the late game. In fact, that's where it seems that they feel that they are favored more than anything else, when they can get up and start losing a bunch of workers because they have mules. And actually, that's gonna be a kill, not a cancel. All right, this drop will get cleaned up though. Wait, do we have blue flame? Yeah, we do. Wow, how did I miss that? This is really interesting from Kira here, as he is leaning full on in to the blue flame Hellbat production, which is interesting because he's getting drilling claws, but I believe he's only on 1 factory. No, he's on... Okay, so this is 2 factory Widowmine Blue Flame Hellion, or Blue Flame Hellbat. Or I should say, no, I gotta assume that's Thor and Blue Flame Hellbat. This is a really interesting stylistic decision from Kira here, as it's kind of generally stated that, well, Hellbats are not all that great, but well, they're a good buffer, and they shred Zerglings, so maybe he's got something going on here. As well, the Banelings will continue to spill through, and his push is getting cleaned up, as we do have the push on the right-hand side. Now, nice little Zergling burrow here. We'll save them from the Thor. I guess save the Thor from them. As we do have Adrenal Glands done. 3-3 is... it's more done than it's not done. And, well, Ultra Armor is just about done as well, so... Rogue's in a pretty good spot as he takes the last base that he can realistically be expected to take on his side of the map. But Kira, for his part, he's also progressing into tech, as we do have Liberators coming out 2 at a time. I would like to see some air upgrades coming on in, just make those Liberators hit that much harder. But we don't see that for the moment, as it's now it's Triple Widowmine coming on in. So Kira, he's not playing Biomech, but he is playing something. There's far more emphasis on mechanical units than you normally see. And this is pretty cool. Now, I don't think it's worked out for him yet, but that's not to say it will not work out for him and the end of the game, as now he's taking his 5th base. But what this does mean is, with his army on the right-hand side, it provides room for Rogue to sort of cycle in onto the left-hand side, maybe get on top of this 3rd base. And that's what he's going to look to do, but now with the Liberators on defense, and really a great opportunity for damage. The Zerglings will run in, and Widowmine say, no, you don't get to do that here. You do not get to do that. But of course, there's a fight on the right-hand side as well. and that is also not going to be the type of fight that Rogue is looking for. And Rogue is really just sharking around for both sides, but it looks like he's taking the worst end of the bad end of fights on both sides here. As he really, I mean, there's just not a lot of micro ability in this Zerg army off a creep. So he's just not trading all that effectively. As he is 5,000 resources down as the balance goes. But again, he's been mining so much more this game that it only matters if Cure is able to take every base that Cure wants to take. So we still got a little bit of time before this inefficient trading really comes into fruition here. As now, once again, Rogue's going to try to spill on forward, and those Widowmine shots are just going to be absolutely insane here. Now the Mutas will be able to clear off all of these Liberators, and it looks like Ro8 actually, despite not taking what looks like the best fight, he finds himself winning the fight after all, as he's up 40 armor supply as soon as the Remax happens, 50 total supply, and we will see these the Ultras, they are getting healed up, so he will be able to do that. And now with the Terran Remax, the army supplies are just about equal. But if we look at the economy here, Rogue, actually, yeah, his economic lead's cratering just a little, as I guess mules were dropped on this fresh base. I will say, I gotta commend Curie. I mean, he hasn't done the best job of creeping this creep sword back. It's not like the creep is on top of the bases, but he's done a decent job of preventing the creep from finding its way onto his side of the map, being aggressive, keeping things cleared up. And really, the bigger thing is this: massive props to Rogue for keeping those upgrades up. Because in all honesty, well, in the late game, you just kind of start to lose your queens, and then it gets really difficult. And now we do have Cure's army rolling on in once again, but it's really not going to do a whole lot. And yeah, the Mutas though, the Mutas are taking a good fight here, as they are able to get on top of things. Now the Widowmines, he does have to be careful of those, but he does get he gets the missile turrets, and he just gets a bunch of the army that's coming streaming out of the map here. Streaming out of the main base of Cure, and that's a pretty good situation for him. Now he's gonna find some economy as well, and this is what I'm talking about. You just kind of start to lose queens, and when you start to lose queens, it just starts to feel not very good at all. And interestingly enough, looks like Cure's decided to take his 6th base as an orbital, and it's not like he's hurting for money. He has not lost a base in this game. He's not lost all that many workers. I mean, he's at 57 workers, but mules mean that doesn't really matter. I mean, he absolutely only needs SCVs to build things and for gas at this point. I mean, not quite, but pretty much. And now Cure is just desperately attempting to break an opponent that just does not want to be broken. As Zergling's going to run on in, but this is such a minefield that it is so hard to get anything on in. And I would not mind seeing Rogue make a tech transition. And as I say that though, he really can't afford it. Not really. I mean, yeah, he's got a mineral bank, but he doesn't have a ton of gas. So going into Broodlords, for example, or going into, starting to get ranged upgrades and going into Lurkers eventually, you can't really afford those things. But now we have a big amount of Zergling Baneling Ultra coming on in here, trying to crash forward. And the Banelings will get some decent connections, but the Ultras are both going to die pretty quickly. But they will be able to get on top of this 6th base. They will be able to start taking the base, doing some damage here to the base of the Terran player. But meanwhile, there's a drop on the left-hand side, and this base is not long for this world. Marauders destroy bases, destroy buildings. So, yeah, Rogue, he gets on top of a base. Absolutely. He's going to be able to get a lot of SCVs, though, if he micros properly. Not really. Okay, so only 16 workers go down. But Cure, he got 16 workers, and he got a base. And in all honesty, Cure at 44 workers, he's kind of okay with it. He's kind of okay with that worker count. Just means he can get a bigger army. And that is exactly what he's doing, is we're going to see the mules dropped and the economy spike once again. Alright, so this is rather interesting. It looks like Rogue's idea about how to win this late game is just going to be a lot of Mutas. And, I don't hate it. I mean, +3 Mutas, 3-1 Mutas absolutely do a ton of damage. And they're maneuverable, they can force the Terran out of position, but they don't win straight up fights. They don't win against these massive minefields that we see coming on in here. So once again, we have Zerglings, Banelings, Ultras, everything, the kitchen sink, kit and caboodle, coming on in, trying to stream in, but this is a great split. And yeah, Ultras are getting on top of the economy. Mutas are trying to get on top of the economy as well, but this is, once again, not going to be a good fight here for Rogue. He's going to remax once again, but look, the bank is gone. Where he had 4K minerals in the bank, now he is struggling to make ends meet. He's a single mother, trying to make sure that he has food to feed his Ultras. But unfortunately, his food stamps have run out. And now, well, Cure, he is going on the aggression here. He says, look, I have found a position. I have finally broken you, or you have broken yourself on me. And now it's the time to get on top of things. Now, the Mutas will swing around and get on top of a lot of these Marauders, which, well, when you get the Marauders, that means that the Zerg and the Baneling can do the rest. Mutas are fighting it as well as they can, but still not all that great. And Cure, he's up 40 army supply. He's going to be able to get on top of this rightmost base, this 3 o'clock base. That will go down as well. And Cure is just really shrinking the map, shrinking the map for Rogue, shrinking the economy for Rogue as well. Now the Mutas will be able to get a Thor here. That's pretty nice. Get a bunch of just really get a bunch of everything. So these Mutas are, you know, the decision to go so high in the Muta count, get +3, get +1 armor. It's paying off, but I'm just not convinced that it's going to be enough. Oh no, the Mutas, they will find a bunch of Widow Mines. Now trigger finger here for Rogue. He will be able to avoid it. And maybe get some damage on the way up, but I mean, these Mutas are just taking a lot of damage. They're getting tracked down, and so many Mutas have died in that long sojourn. As oh no, the Thors have found things once again. But on the flip side, that's a lot of medevacs and not a lot of army. So it looks like the Mutas will be able to escape. And Rogue, he's bought himself some time. I don't know if it's bought enough time, but he's bought himself some time. It does mean +2 air carapace is just about done. And once again, we have a big fight coming on in here. Really, the majority of the army on the left-hand side, so not the full surround that you would like, is Rogue really streaming through a choke. Yes, it is on creep, but that's a lot of Marauders. Marauders do really well against pretty much everything here. And, well, especially trying to split in the speed zones, does a great job. So the Mutas, they're not getting a good fight. The Ultras, they're not taking a good fight. The Banelings, well, they might get a good fight, but not really. And Cure, he stands strong. Now, what I will say, though, is that was a little bit better of a fight for Rogue than I thought it was originally, as he was able to equalize the army supply for the moment. But I mean, look at this Cure, his army supply once again, he's up 30 army supply, and so much tech has fallen down the drain for Rogue. Is how many Mutas he's on? He's only on 7 Mutas now. There are no Ultras on the map. He's just trying to win the game on Lingbane Muta, and that doesn't really work against late game 6 base Terran. They remax too fast. And they're, honestly, Marauders are just too good for that. That really works. The Widow Mine shot's going to go off. Once again, we do have our Rogue really on his last legs here, trying to see what he can to get things done. But really nice splits, and there we have it. GG Cure. Going to take game number 1 in 23 minutes. What a game. What a game indeed. But hey, we got more games in this series. Romanticide is going to be our game number 2 of this quarterfinals of the OlimoLeague number 214. On that note, man, holy moly, what a job she has done running this tournament for 200 odd weeks, 4 years now, just about. That is a great job, and what a service to the community. What an incredible thing that happens for the community. And I mean, getting these replays, watching all these games, keeping the Korean scene afloat, it's awesome. With that being said, game number 2, it's all loaded up. Let's go. And here we are spawning the upper right in the red, down 1-0 in this best of 3 for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. He's Rogue. And in the bottom right in the blue, also for Dragon Phoenix Gaming in this team kill, give it up for Cure. So, as we get on into this game number 2, I'm curious whether Cure goes for the... It's weird. I mean, Cure, he's one of those innovative players. He does like to do interesting stuff. He does like to do novel stuff with Hellbats, with Widow Mines. with different things. I mean, he is always kind of at the forefront of specifically TVZ over the last year or so, it feels like. So I'm interested to see whether this is just ability strike or whether this is how he feels TVZ needs to be played at the moment. But, well, I mean, he's absolutely been taking names. In the last month, he's killed Raynor, he's killed Cyril, he has killed Rogue, at least in game number 1. He has killed DRG. So, he's killed a lot of good Zergs. I mean, he's pretty much the top 5 in the world from top 5 Zerg players. He has smashed into the floor in big tournaments and small tournaments, in intermediate-sized tournaments, and, well, so clearly he's got an idea what he's doing. This is an interesting package replacement. But hey, you know what? When you get a command center that early, don't need that second supply depot before Badge's Rogue. He's just gonna take his 28 third. No big deal there. But again, I'm really curious what we're going to see out of this game. Now, this was not a Reaper expand once again. I believe this was this a command center first? I'm sitting here and I really should be paying attention more to the early game a little, but I'm so used to just TVZ being the same thing over and over again that I'm actually not sure whether this was a command center first. But it certainly was without a Reaper. So that does once again mean that this is likely going to be a Hellbat opening. A Hellbat something coming from Kira. At the very least, if it's not Hellbats, we will probably going to see some Banshees, but Kira likes his Hellbats, he likes his Banshees. So I would not be surprised to see that coming on in here in this game number 2. I mean, it's worked from thus far. It worked from game 1, worked from 2 out of 3 games against DRG. So again, will not be surprised to see that happen. This time, though, we do see the Hellions marauding on the map. This isn't like last game where we just saw a bunch of Hellions wait until the very last minute and then go and with a bunch of Marines and try to get a push going. No, this is a couple Hellions showing active on the map, and of course we do have a couple Hellions back home. That's just going to make it so, well, hey, any sort of Zergling run by not really going to be all that effective. And Rogue has gone for mainly speed this game, so he will be aware of the fact that this will be a Banshee opener once again. And honestly, with the way Kira has been playing recently, I'm not sure he needed to scout to know that Kira was going for Banshee play, going for Hellions and all that. Now, it is nice to know that whether or not he is going for an armory, whether there's going to be gas on the natural, double gas on the natural, and neither of those things are true. So this will be bio as well. Yeah, we have Stem there to confirm it as well. And this will just be Hellion Banshee. We're not going to see Hellbat Banshee. Not yet. So those are nice confirmations for our Red Zerg player as he looks to fight his way back into the series. I mean, it is a best of 3, so technically his back's against the wall, but he's only lost 1 game, and that was a long game. It was a good game. It was a very close game. The Hellions, they're going to find their way on the right-hand side. Not really get a whole lot done, but of course the goal here with Hellions really and Hellion Banshee is not to get damage done. I mean, if they get damage done, it's great. Absolutely. But okay, so the Banshee will find the Zerglings, which is pretty nice. And actually, man, Akira is being so greedy with this. Taking his third base on position, on location like this. Will absolutely work out with them, though, strictly because of that Banshee location, the Banshee positioning. So, hey. Banshee, or the Hellions will stay home, warding off this run by. Meanwhile, the Banshees, they're going to look to get some damage done. And we should see a couple drones go down. I mean, it's 2 Banshees, 1 tap a drone, or 1 Banshee, 2 taps a drone. Whichever way you want to talk about it. So they're going to be able to maybe get a couple of gas drones, but not much more than that. And this run by, it's not going to get anything done whatsoever. Not with the Hellions here, not with the Marines here. Because Kira is on top of things now with the Banshees. Looks like they're going to decide to go on into the main base, where potentially there is a little bit less defense. But hey, there are 2 spores here, and that's not really a mineral line that he can hit. Now, of course, there's only 1 spore in the natural, but there are more queens there. But now the Banshees will find... Banshees will find a spot. So 2, 3, 4... maybe 5 workers are going to go down, but only if targeted appropriately. But yeah, okay. Which is saying might lose a queen, but no, Rogue is on top of things. Meanwhile, the Banshees have found their way on into the third, or the Hellions have found their way into the third base. 6 workers going down, but shouldn't see more than that. Yeah, there we go. Only 6. Oh, okay, we'll get the 7th. So 7 workers go down for Hellion Banshee. More than you would expect, but again, not game ending in the slightest. Now we just have the Banshee sitting back here, forcing the Queens to stay back for the moment. That's just a bit annoying, but Mutas are going to start to be built in a second, and suddenly it's not all that impactful. But this is interesting. So we do have Rogue, despite going for a rather quick Spire, he has started his upgrades before the Spire finishes, so he's not really saving a ton of gas from Mutas. He does have the money to go up to just about 8. There's a nice blitz there from Rogue. Make sure the Widow Mines don't do too much to him. Alright, there, nice blitz once again. As both players just kind of try to play with things and say, hey, you're doing the thing, right? Yeah, I'm doing the thing. Okay. Well, that is exactly what happens here. Now, Rogue, he's going to be able to take his 4th base. Meters on the way. 1-1 is halfway done, so it's not going to be a severe timing disadvantage, but it's still going to be something. It looks like Cura is going for an A-Rax in this game. Oh, never mind. Those are just the 2 additional racks. So he's going up to 5 barracks here. Yeah, the idea that Cura is going to go for an A-Rax, please. He wants to go to 3-3. He wants to go to like 27 minutes. He's done that every game. And look at this. This is pretty cool. This is something you see players do a lot, where he has hidden the Widow Mines under the medevac. He says, hey, free medevac, come remove the drop. It's going to be great. And then, of course, 2 Widow Mines there, so you get a bunch of Mutas for your troubles. But Mutas, they're not aware of that, so it's one of those things where you do it, and you hope the Zerg is paying attention, because if they're not, the next level play is not really going to do what it wants. But Cure, he's doing the Widow Mine thing once again. So we have Widow Mine drops coming on in here on the left-hand side that should be synced up. Actually, looks like Drilling Class have just finished, so it will be synced up with Drilling Class. Now the Mutas really showing themselves on the other side of the map for the first time. 5 SCVs will be their bounty, as they do get out unscathed. So now we have a Widow Mine drop coming on in on the right-hand side. Where's the left-hand? Okay, so there's the drop coming on into the natural here. And there are some Mutas here. Well, the Widow Mines are going to go off and get 3 Mutas. And you know what? That is... Okay, so that's worth a decent amount. Actually, that's worth, what, 8? Call it 8 drones. Sure. 300 mineral... you got 4 Mutas, so 400 minerals. So that's 8 drones. And then gas cost. And then... yeah, so call it 10 drones worth of damage. Not the 27 we see sometimes, but certainly not bad here as the drop's coming on in. And Mutas should be able to get some of these, but some of them will go off. Only 1. So actually great cleanup here from the blue, from the red Zerg player, as he does just doing a really good job. Okay, you got to get that Widow Mine. Rogue, you got to get that Widow Mine, though. You saw it. It was in vision. Rogue, please. But he will not. So it does mean that, Zergling, drones, queens, something's going to face the repercussions for that mistake. But, hey. Not the end of the world here. Well, once again, yeah, there's a Widow Mine there, and Kier's not going to be able to get us to take his base as quickly as he would like. But we are rapidly moving on into the late game here. Plus 2-2 just about done for Kier. Where's that? Oh, yeah, the Widow Mine found the high ground. It got 6 drones for itself. Really nice repositioning there. So that Widow Mine will go down. Anyway. We're rapidly progressing on into the late game. 4 bases here for Curious. We should start to see a bunch more command centers start to get plopped down as he really expands his position on the map, gets that really big late game Terran economy that you want so much. Where's that? Was there another drop? That big late game Terran economy that you are so interested in. Getting 3-3, the heavy tech the point where it's just so hard for the Zerg to win, because that, well, realistically, it's because of the Baneling nerf. Where Banelings do not trade nearly as well against Marauders, against Thors as they once did. And because of that, it is, well, you can't play Mutiling Bane in late game. And actually now, great moves from Kira. He's going to be able to knock off both the bottom left and the upper right base. Now, granted, there is a Baneling run by coming on in, and 11 workers will go down. So, Rogue not exactly taking the punishment lying down, but he's stuck back on 4 bases, and well, his opponent's got 4 bases too. And again, as a Zerg, you want to be 1 or 2 bases up on your opponent at all times. So because Rogue has lost these 2 bases here, he's not all that happy. I mean, he's not in a position to really build the bank he wants. Okay, now he's maxed out, of course, but being maxed out doesn't mean you're starting to build a bank normally. It means you're starting to, you just want to trade. You want to not build that bank. I don't know what Widow Mines will go in. Of course, Rogue on top of things, making sure that well, things don't die for the moment. as these are +1 mutas, so they do shred missile turrets pretty quickly, and we're actually just getting a lot of damage done with this. So you just make sure to stay away from the Widow Mines, of course. Well, now there is, now with the Overseer to tank things, suddenly he's able to get on top of the army, get on top of this rally as well. So this is a really great Muta flyby from our red Zerg players. Now with the Widow Mines here, they should get, yeah, they're going to get taken out as well. So 14 workers go down, a bunch of the rally here from Cure. There's a gap in the wall now too, although that will be replaced immediately. And this is just a great job of buying time. I don't know if it's buying time. There's a great bit of aggression from our red Zerg player. As once again, Banelings are being morphed, run by is getting set up. Says, you don't really get to have this wall. I mean, yeah, you're building it, but I'm just going to make you pay for it every single time. I'm going to build a wall, and I'm going to make Cure pay for it. Although I guess Cure is paying for his own wall, so that reference doesn't really make sense. But anyway, we'll pretend it does. For the sake of the memes, for the sake of the dreams. Cure has decided to get aggressive, really for the first time in a while, to be honest. Well, that's not even true. He was able to knock it to double snipe bases. Once again, it looks like he will be able to just take, there we go. He's going to force to cancel. Ro8 says, look, I'm not in position. I can't even deal with this. No big deal. I do have my both bases in the bottom left all set up. One's mining, one's not, but both of them are fully built. So once again, we have that run by coming in. This time, though, well, yeah, it's not really going to get a lot done. But I really do like how Rogue is trying to keep Cure's attention on multiple parts of the map at once, as this supply depot will burn down unless Cure is paying attention to things. Looks like he is not, so I don't think this supply blocks Cure. I mean, he's at 200 supply anyways, but I don't think that drops him to 200 out of 178 or something. It will not. As we have three more command centers on the way, there just comes a point where it is almost impossible to supply block a Terran, even if you get every supply depot, as they just get so many command centers. As these random Widow Mines doing the devil's take, shaving off random Zerg units here or there. It's just so annoying. You see the Terran just kind of scatters Widow Mines across the map. It's, oh yeah, it's getting great. It's giving me a good time. I'm having a great time. Having a good time. As now the Zerglings will run on in here. +3 is not done. Neither is Adrenal Gland. So that is going to be an incredibly costly trade that will not work out for him whatsoever, as the Planetary Fortress will survive. Meanwhile, of course, Cure, he got the base on the bottom left-hand side. And well, the Muta's not really trading that well either, as he finds himself rather significantly down in supply. Now, he's trying to get the trades here, but the Thors, they're chonky boys. And this Widow Mine shot... Okay, yeah, nice split there from Rogue. But again, we're seeing lots of Banelings, and this mass Baneling style feels really pretty anachronistic to the modern way of playing ZVT. As realistically, with how tanky Marauders are, with how tanky Thors are, after the damage to light, or well, the damage to anything non-light nerf, well, the Banelings are just not nearly as good. I really feel like you want a lot more Zerglings, kind of like how Raynor plays, as Rogue actually will be able to take this fight and find himself in a really good position, actually, as he is able to sweep the map clean of the Terran army, and maybe even sweep on into this 5th base. Now, he doesn't have a lot of Banelings, so it's going to be hard to get this base down, but he does have some Ultralisks, and he does have... Well, yeah, he has Ultralisk armors, and we have a bunch of SCVs going down here, and the base goes down as well. So this, for the first time in a bit, Rogue feels like he's getting some economic damage done, instead of just letting Cure do kind of whatever he wants. So we have a Widow Mine run by coming on in here. But yeah, Cure's on top of it. Rogue's on top of this. He says, no. It is insane how fast these players play. Well, I mean, yeah, they're pro players. You expect it, but I mean, he sees the one Widow Mine. He looks over. He splits his Zerglings appropriately. Then he goes and does. It's just, yeah, pro players are fast. Then we got these Mutas try to fly in, but hey, there's a Thor on the high ground, so this is really not an assailable position in the slightest. But Rogue has started to realize that, hey, look, Cure's committed a decent amount to try to take this 5th base. He's committed a decent amount of army in this position, which means there is no army. No army at all. There's one Widow Mine, but there's no army at all on this, the 4th base that Cure took a couple minutes ago, which means it is absolutely vulnerable to a Ultralisk Baneling bust. And, you know, I kind of like it. We have a run back coming on in here as well now. I do like this. We do notice, of course, the one Zergling coming on in. So actually, the Widow Mine's not going to get anything at all. So we have the bust coming on in here. The Banelings will be able to just target this down, and the bases go down. Meanwhile, it looks like we have a Widow Mine drop. Some sort of drop coming on the right-hand side. But Cure taking some really good trades on the last minute, really annihilating the economy of Cure here. Or, yeah, the economy of Cure. But hey, Cure, he has a bunch of orbitals, so he can just lift and drop, as all these banelings are going to run into a bunch of Marauders, and that is not a great trade in the slightest. So Cure, once again, he's been able to reestablish his fourth base, reestablish his fifth base. Looks like he's getting ready to take a sixth as well. So, yeah, Rogue did some good economic damage, but Cure is right back where he wants to be. And what I will say is 3-3 is done. We will have +3 flyer attack coming on in here as well. And with the large amount of mutas that Rogue has really been liking to build in this game, I like it much more on this map than Juggernaut. Feels like this map is a little bit more dynamic, left to right across the map. You can get a little bit more. You get a little bit more room to move. Is Widowmine shot is going to get a lot of banelings coming on in here. And actually, yeah, the banelings are not going to get much connections at all. But there's also not a lot of ground army left, as the mutas are going to be able to fly in here. The ultras are cleaning up a lot of this Terran army. And now the mutas on top of things. So, of course, that does mean that Terran has to stand and fight, but he's not going to be able to at all, as suddenly Cure finds himself down 80 total supply here, as now Rogue is getting on top of this 6th base that Cure took just so recently, forcing the lift here, and now the mutas can kill this off should they wish, but they're going to take down the planetary here. They're going to take down the juicier target, as once again, Cure's economy is falling back into the Stone Age. Yeah, he's at 51 workers. You might say, hey, that's good, but he just doesn't have the bases he needs to mine from, as once again, it looks like Rogue, he's coming crashing on in here. He's got the ultras, he got the mutas. They're just targeting everything down, and yes, Widowmines won't even go off, and now it's just a bunch of Marines against a bunch of 3-5 Ultralisks, and I'll give you one guess as to how that will work out here. Now, yes, Cure, he's got some great micro coming on in, but now the mutas are on top of things. Zergling's on top of everything as well, and GG, Cure, his supply falling precipitously, and Rogue is going to take game number 2. You know what that means? That means we get two ace matches in a row. Granted, I believe these videos are getting cut up by individually best of 3, so, sorry, one of the other game I'm talking about, well, that was Cure versus DRG, and that was also an insane series. Make sure to go check that out. But hey, that's neither here nor there, because we got game number 3. And we're going to load it up right now. All right, we got game number 3 loaded up. It is on Pillars of Gold. Let's go. And here we are, spawning in the bottom left in the red, representing Dragon Phoenix Gaming for the potentially the last time. It's Cure. And in the upper right, taking a long game, taking the most excellent game in game number 2, in the blue, Cure's teammate. It's Rogue. So it looks like Cure, he's not doing anything fancy, not placing 3 barracks on the other side of the map in game number 3. He's not going to do anything like that. No, he's going to play the same game that he has been playing. As, really the first thing we're looking at here is whether he's going to skip the Reaper once again. As that just appears to be something he did it against DRG for the most part. I think he had a Reaper one game. He is doing it against Rogue. We're just going to have to take a look. I mean, he really likes this Hellbat thing. Okay, so he will go for Reaper in game number 3, and he did go for the Reaper in game number 3, but game number 3 last series, and that was also on Pillars of Gold. So I wonder if it's a game 3 thing where you just want to make sure you have scouting, whether it's a Pillars of Gold thing where you're maybe more of afraid of a roach attack, so you want to make sure that you have scouting on it. Not really sure exactly what makes the difference here. Maybe it's just a series game planning where you kind of do things and then you hope your opponent Well, you skip a Reaper twice. So you say hope your opponent goes for an early pools, and then you just get a Reaper game 3 and you punish it. Whatever the case may be, Reaper coming on in here onto the other side of the map here, looking to see what it can get done. And realistically, it's not going to get. Might get a Zergling. Might get a Zergling. Certainly should not get a drone. Now, Rogue has opted for the 6 Zergling defense. And this means that he should not lose any units. So, really, the way the math goes is if you opt for 4 Zerglings, you expect to lose a Zergling or 2, maybe. If you go for 6, you expect to lose nothing at all. And Rogue, with the excellent micro, loses not a single Zergling. So he will be able to keep all that alive and recoup his investment. Keep it alive for later on. And that does, of course, mean that he's going to have 6 Zerglings to deal with some initial Hellion pressure. And more interestingly than that, Rogue is not playing the DRG style. He's not playing the solar style. He's actually kept 2 out of 3, so it looks like he may go for an early Muta play here, too. Of course, we do see 2 out of 3 on gas, which means he's mining a lot more gas than one would normally expect. Of course, this could also be for just Overlord speed. But we are at 100 gas. And I'm surprised we haven't seen something get bought. So the Reaper really doing a really good job of making sure he sees what's happening, but should eventually, there we go. So Reaper will get taken out, but of course not before scouting just about everything in the map. And Rogue immediately goes, and okay, so there we go, back into 3 out of 3. Second gas coming down. So yeah, we have 2 base Muta on the docket coming for, well, the fact that the Lair's on the way is even more telling. So we have 2 base Muta on the way here for Rogue. And I do kind of like that on this map. There's a decent amount of dead airspace. Doesn't mean you can get stuff done. But Rogue does feel a little bit late on his 3rd base for 2 base Muta. Now, every player has their own slightly different build for 2 base Muta, and I guess Rogue's just takes a little bit slower of a 3rd. Maybe that's kind of a more Korean. Yeah, I think Koreans tend to take a little bit later of a 3rd when they go 2 base Muta versus say players in North America. Jim's 2 base Muta build takes his 3rd at like 44 supply. Rogue's taking his at 60. Yeah, 58. Close enough. Actually, that Hellion will go down too. So really nice target. Well, really nice payoff on the target fire from earlier from the Queens there. So yeah, the Queens, they're going to be defensive. One of the weaknesses, of course, of 2 base Muta is you're kind of lacking Queens. Of course, Rogue only has 4 at the moment, 3 at the front. So there is a timing where if your opponent builds a lot of Hellions, they can kind of run in and get some damage done. Because you're really just trying to skimp on everything that's not called drones to be able to make this work out. But Rogue, he's going to be fine. He's got enough Zerglings to really fend things off with the Queens that he has. And, well, Cure, for his part, we're not seeing Banshees coming on in. We're not seeing Hellbats. He's playing a more normal game. He did get that quick 3rd command center that he's going to be able to drop down. And you know what? For game number 3, I do like this. I like both players really... Well, I guess Rogue's playing a pretty aggressive option. As a 2 base Muta, it does have to get something done. Even if that is just a tempo lead. Of course, the goal of the 2 base Muta, more than anything else, is to just keep the Terran at home. Keep them pinned back. But of course, Cure is also aware of this. He has a double command center, or double eBay on the way. So he's not going to have missile turrets by the time the Mutas first arrive, I don't believe. But he should have missile turrets. Actually, no, he might. Yeah, he's going to have missile turrets just in time. Another Zergling run by is going to attempt something and will find itself unsuccessful. So 8 Mutas on the way. Just about done here. And yeah, there we go. Missile turrets going up. Now, actually, it looks like missile turrets are going to be about 5 seconds early, but who's counting? At the end of the day, as long as the missile turrets are up before the Mutas, and it's not like they're like 2 minutes before the Mutas. It's a pretty good job. And actually, yeah, nope, never mind. These missile turrets are going to finish right as the Mutas get here. So really good timing there from Cure. As he is well aware of how this game is played. So I would hope so. He's a pro player. Alright, so that means they're going to look to see what they can, but yeah, with the stim here, they're only going to lose one of their brethren. And when you go 2 base Muta like this, you really don't want to lose any Muta. They are so valuable. You have sacrificed so much to get there. It means your economy is so inferior to where it could be if you just go first stand a 3 base build. So you really need to A, not lose your Mutas, and B, you need to get something done. You need to get a gas. You need to get a couple SCVs. You need to get a supply depot. You need to be in a position where you can get some sort of damage done, and Kira is just playing a masterful defense. He's making it so hard for Rogue to really make sure he gets what he wants here. Now, bailing speed is just about done, as is +1 air, but Kira now, he now has his push coming out on the map. Now, what I will say is this is really good creep spread. Rogue's creep spread is really inspiring in this game. Number 3, and now the Mutas, they found their opening. They found what they wanted to do as Kira, he's on the map, so his army's not really there for the moment. Now, the rally's going to look to see what it can get done. But the army is on the map. Although it looks like this is not a true pressure force, this is just a creep removal. This is just a creep removal force here, as they bring out the mop and bucket. They just mop everything up off the map, make it look a little bit cleaner. Although, I mean, to be fair, this is a dust map, so it's gonna take a lot to make this map look clean. Not to say it's not gorgeous. Shout out to the map maker, but yeah, exactly. As Mutas will fly in and lose one of their number once again. This is not what you really don't want to lose Mutas for stuff like that, but. I mean, that one's a little bit better. I mean, Rogue, he's on 80 workers now. He's got his 4th base on the way. 1-1 is halfway done. He's got Burrow on the way. He's bailing speed, Overlord speed. He's in a better position. He's going to be able to actually defend a push now, should the push come. And I'm really continuously surprised at how passive Kira has been playing these games. I mean, I'm used to seeing turf players like just desperately try to get damage done. Maybe it's just because I've been casting a lot of PvT recently. But Kira is just really content to make sure the creep spread doesn't move onto his half of the map, sit at home, get his upgrades, get his 4th command center, progress in the game, and not really do any sort of hardcore push, which is surprising, especially against 2-base Muta. Because again, 2-base Muta, that's kind of one of those things where you really see those crisp, those 7-minute timings, 6:30 timings, tank timings, stim timings, whatever you want to call them. Where the Terran can knock out a 4th base, can knock out a 3rd base, can even end the game sometimes. So that tends to be a common response to 2-base Muta. But Kira, of course, he did go for he did go for a fast 3rd. So that is a lot of there are so many missile turrets in this main base. That is insane. Although great job, Rogue has found the opening. We'll be able to knock that off. And actually, yeah, the Mutas are going to be able to get this, get the +1 vehicle plating too. So that's a really nice move here, and not lose a single one of their numbers. So Rogue, not the best Muta control through the start of the game, but now absolutely he's finding himself in a really wonderful position. Or I should say, not maybe a wonderful position. I mean, he's in a position. This is really no players ahead or behind, but getting those upgrades. It means the Thors die a little bit slower. It means 3-3 is not going to get started up immediately once it's done in 5 seconds. It means Widow Mines are not hidden as they burrow. They're all small things, but they can add up. But now Curie says, okay, I've been defensive on 3 base long enough. You've pinned me back. That's fine. Now is the time for me to take my 4th. And the Mutas, okay, now they know about that. Rogue is aware that the 4th has been taken, but on the flip side, he's got 5 bases up. He's got a 6th base on the way. He has a hive just about a third of the way done. 2-2 is just about done. So, actually, the really big deal with getting that armory was how much it delayed 3-3. Because now 3-3 is 30 seconds for... It's only going to be about a 50-second timing window. Maybe a little bit more. That Rogue is going to have to deal with where he is down in upgrades. And that's a pretty nice thing, a nice position to be in. It's not the multiple minutes that sometimes you see in the stylistic matchups, and that makes such a difference. If you can fight on can fight the army on even footing, it feels very nice. As once again, Rogue has committed pretty heavily to the Mutas here. He's up on 24 Mutas. Generally, you would see 15 to 18 in this Mutiling Bane style, but no, he's on 24. He is on a base killing number. He is on a missile turret killing. He is on a army fighting number pretty much at this point, as he has decided to not wait until the hive is done to get +3. No, he has gone for +1 carapace. So I guess maybe he wants to fight with this army a little bit more. Now we do have a push on the left-hand side, but there should be enough Banelings to deal with this, especially now with the rest of the army coming on in here. And that has given Rogue free reign to say, okay, it's time for me to dive on into this 4th base. But that is a Thor That is a lot of Widow Mines, and that is, well, that's a lot of missile turrets. That's not exactly a push that is going to be, that is going to be easy for, or a base that's easy for Rogue to crack with his mutas. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him swing over and try to help deal with this. That's a decent Widow Mine minefield coming in. And the Banelings, they're going to get okay connections, not the best. And with the spine going down as well, there's not a whole lot of static defense here anymore. All right. So Muta's now flying across. Looks like they took a Widow Mine shot in transit, and now with the Mutas coming on in here, this is going to be a cleanup. Now the question, of course, is how many Mutas or how many medevacs can these Mutas get before they find reinforcements? Actually, the Mutas are just going to choose a fight here because again, these are +2 Mutas. They pack a punch. And now with the Thor showing up, that the army of Cure will get fought back, and we're still sitting here in a pretty even game. I mean, neither player's really found an advantage. 3-3 is on the way. Ultras are on the way. For Rogue, Cure is 3-3 is just about done. He's taking his 5th base. He's in a pretty happy spot. Is he really getting this siege coming up? And with all these Bane, I mean, this is just... Honestly, I feel like this is too many Banelings. And I know that sounds weird to say, but with how Marauder heavy this army is, you just need... How Marauder Thor heavy this is, you need the Zerglings to be able to fight that. And Rogue doesn't really have that, which means that his Banelings, they're just struggling to get through on top. And now, of course, the Swarm's coming on in all at once. And once again, we're going to have a cleanup here. But that's not the only fight happening. Is Cure on the right-hand side is going to push on top of this 3 o'clock base from Cure, or from Rogue. And he will be able to snipe it down without too many issues as the main army from Rogue on the right-hand side. And yeah, okay, so the Zerglings will find their way in, but these are +2 Zerglings against 3-3 bio. Yeah, that's not a fight that's ever really going to work out. But of course, there's also a run by. Zergling Baneley run by on top of the 3rd base. So we're going to see some... Oh, that is unfortunate. It looks like the Banelings just targeted down the missile turrets. And hey, you might say that's great. That means the Mutas can fly in later. But man, they could have gotten so many SCVs, excuse me. As now the Mutas, they're just going to jump on top of everything here. This base should go down. But at what cost? 7 SCVs have gone down. A base has gone down. That was a lot of Banelings. A lot of Banelings to be sacrificed for the cause. But for the moment, Rogue's in a pretty great economic position. He's sitting here on 6 bases. Sorry. 5 bases. 6th and 7th base on the way. Actually, yep. 6th base is done. He'll knock a base out. And keep his opponent back. And now the Mutas, they will fly into this position where there's no missile turrets anymore. So they're going to be able to get on top of this and kill a whole bucket load of SCVs. 13, 14 go down, but those Widow Mine shots are going to be really nice. Knock off a couple more Mutas for their troubles. But now, of course, we do have the army of Cure posturing on the right-hand side, looking to take this more aggressive base. And this is, realistically, this is going to be a great position to attack out of. It's going to allow him to just siege up outside of the 7th base of Rogue. And make sure it just really doesn't ever get up, as now Cure, that is exactly what he's getting ready to do, as he's consolidating his army, and now he's going to move on, most likely, to try to push down this 7th base of Rogue. Even as it finishes, so really nice timing if he makes it there, means that Rogue can no longer cancel. Looks like Cure's also getting ready to take a 7th base of his own on this side, or I guess 6th base. I can count, it's fine. Never do math on stream. Alright, so now we have a big... Not a big flank from Rogue. No, that was just the rest of Cure's army finding their way in here, and he absolutely did soak some pretty big Widow Mine shots, or some pretty big Baneling shots. So that is going to be a bit of an issue as he tries to push the issue a little bit more. And there are no ghosts on the way, not yet. Ghost Academy is just done, but that does mean that Cure is not really going to have the tech in his army that he's going to be looking for the next little bit. But now we have a fight coming on in here. Baneling's going to come crashing forward along with the Ultras and the Mutas, but this is kind of a disjointed fight. The Banelings go forward, and now the Mutas, now the Ultras come join the fight here, but it's disjointed. Although that being said, the Ultras are going to get on top of all of these Marines, and everything's going to go down. And as much as this, yeah, it's a disjointed fight, it is a fight that absolutely worked out, as now Ultras are marauding. 3 and 4 more Ultras on the way. Bunch of Zerglings. Rogues remax, and Cure, he's stuck here on 130, 140 supply. This base should go down. Of course, these are +2 Mutas, and they shred buildings with impunity. So the base is going to go down. Cure stuck now on 4 bases. Realistically, only on 1.5 mining bases with how far his 3rd base is mined out. And yeah, these Ultras, they're not trading the best. But Cure is really suffering from an economic perspective at this point. As 36 Banelings come get morphed in here as Rogue readies the final assault. He says, hey, Cure, I don't think you have enough. I don't think you have enough anymore. I don't think you have the economy for it. So I can trade pretty poorly at this point and still be pretty happy with what's happening. As he set off a full surround coming on in here, looking to just knock down this 4th base. Ultras will find the majority of the army, but we should see just a bunch of Banelings target this 4th base down, and they will. Actually, no, it's just going to be the Ultras killing that. Baneling's just running into the army. And the Ultras doing a really good job of just scything away at this base. The base goes down, and now Cure, he's stuck on 3 bases. He just does not have an economy at this point, so he's going to have to win pretty much with the army that he has, and he really does not have much of one, although Rogue, for the moment, didn't have much of an army either. That being said, though, the Remax 90 Zergling, 6 meters on the way as Rogue approaching max once again. And Cure, he's just not really going to be able to make it there. If you look at the relative incomes here, well, I would say Cure's relative economy falls off a cliff, but, well, that was true even before that fight. Look at the economy here. Cure's just not mining. Not really. Now, it looks like the command center from the main base has been moved off to the 4th. So eventually Cure's going to be able to mine again, but we also got to remember the fact that Rogue has a terrifying army. He's morphing 14 Banelings to add on to the 10 he already has, so not a massive Baneling count at the moment, but still something to be scared of, especially again with how small of an army Cure has. But I mean, that is a great pre-split. That is an excellent Baneling minefield, but well, Rogue's just not going to attack into that. He says, okay, well, if you're going to pre-split on the right-hand side, let's just knock out your 4th base. Actually, no, he's going to run on in here anyways. Great Zergling splits. He runs on anything. Most of the Banelings, most of the Widowmines already connecting. Not a whole lot. As Zerglings, Banelings, Ultras, Corruptors, Mutas, excuse me, coming on in. And GG. Rogue is going to take the game. He's going to take the series. And what a series it was.